Hey everyone, this is Cody Bonham with Block and Knife Crafts. Today I'm going to show you how I start this design for a horned owl sitting atop a log. In this video I'm going to show you my process for doing the rough out, and then in the next video I'll show you how I add all the finishing details. Measure out 4 inches on the 2-inch block of wood. In lieu of a bandsaw, I use this folding pole saw. It works fairly well, cuts fairly easily, just watch out for your fingers. I use a heavy-duty bushcrafting knife to lop off each corner. Don't try this with your whittling knife. I continue with the bushcrafting knife to smooth out those edges to try to get the block into as close of a cylinder as possible. Almost done with this step, and now it's on to the fun part. I bought this cheap knockoff Fordham off Amazon, and I use a 1/4 inch cut saw extra coarse burr. I do a quick pencil sketch. Here I start out about 1/3 of the way up the block. This is tracing out where the top of the log is going to be and the bottom of the owl's belly. Moving up to the top, I'm going to put in where the horns are going to be, top of the head, the other horn, and then finish out the rest of the shape of the head. Now putting in the shape of the belly, and on the opposite end I will draw in where the tail feathers and the wings will go. This little notch is going to show how far back or how deep the horns are going to go on the rough out. Put a little line across just to make sure they're somewhat even. In the last step, you're going to put in a notch where the feet are going to go, and they're going to hang over top the log. I also just do a continuation line of where the neck is, just to make sure it's even all the way around. Dress like Walter White. Starting out with the rotary tool, I'm going to trace that line around the neck, coming up from the bottom part of the owl. Using the rotary tool is my preferred way of doing a rough out. It saves me a lot of time. I know a lot of you probably think you could do this with a bandsaw, but I don't have one that's capable of doing this kind of work. And the rotary tool is a much more affordable option in my opinion. Now starting from the head side, you're going to do the same type of movement to try to V out that line where the neck is. Next, I'm going to shape out around that horn on one side, so I go on the underside, bring it up on either end, just kind of shape that out. back of that horn, I go around the top edge of the head just to bring it in a little bit towards the front. Doing the same thing on the other side. Now coming in from the horns towards the front of the face, one thing you want to be cognizant of is to leave the middle of the face, the part that's facing you, further out in front, because that's where the beak's going to go, and that front beak is going to be the furthest part out towards you looking at it, so that you can shape down a little bit where the eyes are and down around the bottom of the chin, but you want to leave that point where the nose is sticking the furthest out. Took me a lot of practice getting used to this rotary tool, but if you try to think about it like a knife, if you're carving, it really does help. So using the same kind of safety, keeping your thumb out of the path of the rotary blade. But I've had my fair share of nicks. Sometimes that bit will kick and go right into your thumb or something, but fortunately I've never had an incident that's as bad as getting cut by a knife. I wouldn't recommend wearing gloves when doing this, because I started out doing that and I hit the glove with the bit and it just ripped the glove right off my hand and could have caused a lot more damage than it actually saved me. So here I'm just continuing shaping up that head to get it as much like a sphere as I can, until I'm happy with how it looks sitting on top of the body. A lot of times you'll see me switching from the head to the body, still going along that V-cut groove just to get it deep enough to where I'm happy with it. Next up, I'm going to move down to the lower half here. As you can see there, I'm starting to go down and around where that tail feather is. The tail feather is actually going to lay on top of the log, so you want to make the log smaller than the tail feather. And then the body is going to stick out a little bit less. With this rotary tool, you don't want to go too deep at first, so you'll see me come through these same grooves multiple passes until I get the depth that I'm looking for. Now on the opposite side of the tail feather, you're going to have a notch where the feet are going to come out. I keep this as one piece, and then once I get in carving with the knife and the gouges, then I'll separate it into two separate feet. But again, just like the tail feather, the feet are going to hang over the log. And again, I continue over those same lines a few times just to get the log narrowed down to where the body's sticking over it, the tail's sticking over it, and the feet are sticking over it. Now I'll flip it over and come in from the other side. Now I'm just taking the body down a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of a groove above the feet, so the body actually slopes down to the feet. Body on the same thing on the other side. And then now that you've narrowed that body down, you kind of lost that groove, so I come back and put it in again. Now I know a lot of people watching this might not have this type of setup for doing a rough out. This is the way I'm going to show you because this is the way I do it. The whole reason I wanted to start a YouTube channel is just to give you some different ideas, and I'm showing you how you do it. A lot of you might say there's an easier way to do it or a better way to do it, but this is how I do it, and that's what I'm showing you. That being said, I did have the idea of selling these rough outs for cheap on my Etsy. If you guys are interested in that, just leave me a comment below. So this is going to conclude the end of part 1 of this video, and hopefully next week I'm going to get some recording done and finish this out. I'll put in all the details with knives and gouges, really the fun stuff. This is kind of the heavy work right here. I also plan on doing a painting video if you all are interested in that. Really just trying to get a feel out for what you guys are interested in, so if you could leave me comments, that way I can make videos that you enjoy. Thanks for watching.